Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Cyberpunk 2077. In this one we are going to go through a hacking guide. I'm going to try to cover as much as I can. It's going to be mostly aimed at the essentials, and I don't want to really waste too much of your guys' time, so let's get this started. So first up then, we're going to look at the equipment that is going to affect you the most, and that is going to be your cyber deck. This is pretty much going to be the main thing that you use to give yourself RAM. Consider RAM to be pretty much similar to like magic points or something. This is what we're going to actually use to use our abilities. In addition, on here you'll also have your slots and buffer size. So buffer size, that gives you basically like an amount of mistakes that you can make when you're using the breach protocol. We're going to show all this in a second anyway, so don't this isn't all going to just be theory, don't worry. And then the slots is how many abilities you can place into your cyberware to allow you to use them on either enemies or objects. If you want to find where I got this one from, or another alternative, if you are a little bit earlier than me, look in the comment section. I'll have a link in there that'll have like a list. It'll be a link to a playlist with a load of little guides and tips on it, and where we can get good cyberware from is going to be on there. So once you've got them equipped then, all you really need to do next, in fact, before we continue, I probably should point out that in quick hacking, the very first perk you should get is Synergy. This one is basically what is going to allow us to keep in the fight and allows us to recover RAM during combat. That combined with the cyberware that we're using basically has us regenerating it at a nice rate, and means that we don't have to kind of like try and exit combat and other stuff to keep fighting with our cyber hacks basically. So I would consider this essential before any of the other perks. Get this first. So with all that said then, obviously, ahead of us here, we have an enemy that we can hack onto. Let me just show, obviously, ooh, that's the wrong button. Wow. It's not the wrong button. 1 second. Okay then, so, picking up in a combat situation then, ahead of us, obviously, we have a few enemies here. And basically, you're going to use your, let's call it hacking mode. On a controller, this is your left button, or L1. And you can hold it in, and this is going to basically slow time down and allow you to see things that are ahead of you. So if I hover over an item or a person, we'll get ourselves a list of things that we can do. As you can see, Breach Protocol is free, and then our little quick hacks here all have an amount of RAM associated with them. To select which one you want to use, on the PC it's a roller button, and on the controller it is the D-pad. You guys can see I've got an Xbox controller connected as well, so you guys can see some of the prompts coming up. And so we can basically just go ahead and select one of these, either with X on the controller or F on the PC, and that'll basically have an effect. Let's use ping here just to see an effect. Wait for that to go in, and that's going to do what it does. It's highlight a load of enemies for me, and even other things that I can hack, look, which have their own different things that you can do to them. Now, something that I probably should have said earlier, but I'll bring it up now. The quick hacks that you're going to get available for objects rather than humanoid enemies is actually going to be dictated by your cyberware, which you can see are listed there in the device hacks thing. If you don't have those there, then you won't be able to hack the devices very well. Anyway, back to hacking enemies then. So in addition to this, we can also do breach protocol. So this is where you're going to see the buffer size come into play here. Now I'm going to get some wrong on purpose, just because I want to show you guys how this works, right? So what you really want to aim to do, if you have like loads of strings, you want to aim to get one that ends with the start of another one, if at all possible, just because that's going to make hacking easier. So obviously we have horizontal along the top at the moment. We select a digit here, and then we'll have to go vertical from that row. So let's say I wanted to start with 55, because that's 55 on this long one just here. I'm going to do this. And as soon as I press this, I'm actually going to start losing time at the top. And then now I have to pick one from the vertical, as you can see just here. Like so. Now, of course, I could complete both of these by selecting BD just here. But if I do this, it actually resets them. Look, and I've gone back to having just pressed 55. And that is basically what our buffer is doing. Now, if one of these goes beyond where the buffer size is, then we won't actually be able to do any hacking. Let's see if we can actually still get a hack on the go here. And we did. And that is what the buffer size is going to do for you. You start out with 4, and it's really difficult to do with 4. With 8, very often, I tend to get even like 3, even if there's 3 tiers of digits to get, then it's fairly easy to do. Now, the breach protocol here in combat, that is actually, when I let that go off, going to make it so these guys take more damage because of the demons, and is also, as you can see here, going to reduce the amount of RAM that I need to use. You know, stick some contagion in there, just throw some damage. So I feel like something else that we should then touch on is, wow, if I can just find my button here. Okay, guys, just imagine yourselves some funny music as I started a combat that I really didn't want to start in the middle of a little bit of a tutorial. Either way, guys, the next thing that I want to mention is how you're going to want to go on from the basics then. So the first thing, obviously, we're going to look at here is the quick hacking perks. There's a few really, really nice things in here. I absolutely love subliminal message. This basically makes it so that we do more damage whilst we're in stealth. Absolutely amazing. You can decimate lots of enemies from distance without even having to do anything, which is great. Quickhacks also dealing with more 30% more damage, also good. And I'm going to talk about School of Hard Hacks in a second, just after we've looked at Breach Protocol. So during, obviously, the part where we were throwing out some Breach Protocols, then you'll have heard me say that we made it so that enemies were taking more damage. And that is because of mass vulnerability here, which unlocks a demon that we can put onto enemies that does, as you can see on here, reduces their physical resistances by 30% for 3 minutes. In addition to that, you can also upgrade it with this one, which makes it so that all of their resistances are reduced by 30% for the duration of this. So these pair are a really good place to go. After that, we also have Big Sleep, which means we can hack into cameras, shut groups of cameras down rather than single ones, although this one is for a timer rather than permanently. This just gives you more time when you're trying to do the hacking, which is kind of cool. And Ice Pick, the Ice Pick passive here, the total recall, reduces the amount of RAM that you need after you've used it to use on enemies. That sounds really bad. Basically, when you get this, when you use Ice Pick on enemies, it's -2 RAM to use Quick Hacks on them rather than -1. I think that was a bit clearer, right? And I think there's actually a second variant of that somewhere as well. Here we go. There's another one at Total Recaller, so you can go ahead and make so that that's like -3, which is pretty good. So going back to School of Hard Hacks, there are a few of these kind of nodes on here. I'm trying to see where the other ones are, but I can't remember. But basically, there's one of these for each of the different rankings of quick hacks. Now, what these are useful for, in my opinion, is because they don't actually give you any blueprints. Let's go over to crafting here. They don't give you any blueprints. What they do allow you to do, though, is upgrade the quick hacks that you already have. So as you can see in my inventory here, most of my hacks are actually green. But if I go into my crafting here, I will actually be able to upgrade them and have them have stronger and better effects using the quick hack components. I don't have a farming method for gaining these. These just kind of have been amassing as I've been progressing through the game. So unfortunately, I don't have a direct way for you guys to get these. Just kind of make sure you're looting everything and making your way through the game normally, and you should be fine. I'm fairly sure that is everything. We have gone through equipping a cyber deck, we have equipped slots, showed you guys what Ramland's done, explained what buffer is, breach protocols, using actual quick hacks, and upgrading our quick hack abilities, as well as looking at demons, all that kind of stuff. If you guys think there's anything I've missed, please let me know down in the comments, and I shall catch you all in the next video.